MSW Media.
So yeah, now it's clean up on aisle 45 time. And for a long while yet, it is going to be clean up on aisle 45.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 265 of Cleanup on Aisle 45. It's Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. February is going by really fast.
Yeah, I'm
really
okay with
fast. I'm Allison Gill. Hey, what's up?
that. Hey, I am fine with that. I am so for a fast month because that means a fast year and a faster time to get Donald Trump the hell out of here. It's Harry Dunn here. Okay, y'all, lots to cover today, including Project Saltbox in Maryland and redistricting there and in Virginia.
Yeah. Project Saltbox is growing by leaps and bounds since they were appeared for an interview on Rachel Maddow.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited to know some folks who are kind of working alongside them as flight trackers. Like, there is a massive underground network of resistance against ICE in this country.
Yeah.
And I think it's starting to finally come to the surface. And people are finally learning what these folks are doing. So we're going to talk about all that. We also have an update on another January 6th criminal convicted of crimes unrelated to the attack on the Capitol. And an update on Pillow Man. He's digging his heels in. He's doubling down on defending spending half of his campaign funds buying his own book. So we're going to talk about it.
Insane.
We're going to talk about that. First, we have some new patrons to thank, including Francine McCassie, Amy Beddard, and Caitlin Butler. And then our Hall of Famers, Cliff Cash, Kimberly D. Stephen. The future is not looking bright. Please don't read this on the pod. We don't need a call out. Thanks for what you do. Jess Alstrip Rasmussen, Jens Alstrip Rasmussen, Clover's Tree 73, Star Lanus, Christine G. Passion, and Greg Kreimer.
Thank y'all.
all
Thank y'all
so much. And Harry, before we get into our news today, I just wanted, and we're going to talk about, we talked about this on the Daily Beans yesterday, actually, but I wanted to bring it up here too, because it just makes me so mad.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also going to bring it up with Andy on Unjustified because he worked for the FBI forever, but they're, I guess, now formally refusing to share evidence in the Alex Preddy murder with Minnesota investigators. So that's just so
crappy.
Frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. We knew that they weren't, but now for them to say that they're formally not going to do it, because what that does is it takes away any little glimmer of hope that they would say, hey, we'll pass on whatever we're done. When we're done with it, you all can have it. But they said, no, that's not going to happen. And I'm looking forward to the conversation with Andy, how that goes, because he knows a lot more when it comes to what lawyers cannot do. So I'm looking forward to that conversation.
Well, he said it's totally unprecedented. When we talked about it before it was formal, because we brought it up, the fact that the FBI wasn't sharing any of the evidence. And he's like, that's just so, I've never heard of anything like that. Why would you want to piss off your local law enforcement? They help you so much.
Yep.
They do so much work on the ground for you.
Because they're leaving now, because ICE is leaving now. They said that their mission is complete and they're out.
But they haven't left. They haven't even left. Yeah. And, there's a couple of, like, one of the judges who's working on the case against ICE in Minneapolis has said in a ruling today that it doesn't matter if they leave or if Tom Homan has said they're going to leave. They're still there. So, the case will go forward, I think, probably regardless, because there's going to be an ICE presence. I just don't know how big. But
how big? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
but you're right, though. They do work with your local law enforcement partners, and why would you want to piss them off? So, just a more continuation of
It's like about cooperation, but this administration is not about that, I guess. All right.
Yeah.
Well, first up, I want to talk about something from the Baltimore Banner. First, they unearthed U.S. immigrations and custom enforcement contracts for 42,000 ready-to-eat meals coming to Maryland. Then, they built a data map of how the Federal Department of Homeland Security was distributing its funding. Last week, the 2-month-old Project Saltbox and its 7-person team revealed what some say is a sign that an ICE surge could be coming to the state. The group, which works to unearth and explain the public documents behind federal immigration enforcement, was the first to report on Tuesday that DHS had purchased a warehouse near Hagerstown. In correspondence with Washington County officials, federal officials described how they could retrofit the space to become an immigration detention facility.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people talking about this that's supposed to be happening in Maryland. The emergence of the group comes amid an increase in immigration enforcement in Maryland. Hundreds of people in the state have been taken into ICE custody and held in Baltimore's ICE field office. Those actions, plus an influx in immigration enforcement nationally, have led to cheers in some corners and protests around Maryland. Michael Ritston, one of the writers behind the project, grew up outside of Hagerstown and said in an interview this week that the news of the facility felt incredibly disheartening. I agree. But the Air Force veteran and photographer is encouraged by the response from his neighbors since their piece was published.
Now, Ritston added that the story and subsequent community outcry are the perfect blend of awareness, data, and action the group aims to achieve with Project Saltbox. Quote, "We have advance notice. We know it's coming down the pipeline." That's what Ritston said. How do we push back and make our voices heard? Now, Ritston and the 6 others on the volunteer team of public record sleuths formed about a month ago, outside their day jobs, they have been living in a group chat. That's what Ritston says.
Their name is a play on words, referring to the yellow wooden boxes found around Baltimore that are filled with salt meant to melt ice, or in this case, ICE, Immigration Customs and Enforcement. I like that play on word. Before their coordinated research, the members of Project Saltbox were strangers. The group found each other under a post on Reddit in September from Brianna Grisurko, a U.S. Army veteran, a computer engineering student. All of them felt that their work was a way to do something about the looming threat of federal agents surging into Baltimore as they have in Minneapolis.
Yeah. And, it's interesting, too, with the canaries in the coal mine that they're digging up in these contracts, like 42,000 ready-to-eat meals on their way to Baltimore. Heads up.
Like,
right?
That's a sign, right? Exactly.
Or the contract in Hagerstown, right? They were able to piece that together. And a lot of the flight trackers do that, too. They're like, they've noticed, for example, since a judge ruled in Minneapolis that people could get bond hearings, that more people are actually coming back to Minnesota than being removed on planes. So you can see, like, and one day, just like, I think like 3 or 4 days ago, there were 0 people that were flown out of Minnesota for the first time in a really long time. So they kind of have these hints and clues and working together to kind of try to head these things off at the pass,
Yeah, we know those 42,000 meals aren't to feed the homeless and the hungry. So
right. Not from this government.
Not from this government, exactly.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't until an ICE protest in mid-January that any of them even met in person. For some, it was also their first protest. Once their group chat formed, the research got underway and they began sending their findings to local advocacy organizations and politicians as well. So inside their homes, scattered around the Baltimore area, the group of watchdogs has been scouring the internet for public records, property filings, contracts, government procurements that are otherwise go overlooked. Quote, "I'm pretty much living and breathing this because this is life anyways." That's what Elise Leesky said, a member of the group and owner of the pet care company, Be More Best Buds. Leesky said she also has been a source for neighbors and local ICE watch groups, often notifying people when she spots immigration enforcement officers while out dog walking.
Yeah, the project members said they share a general healthy obsession, with going down the rabbit hole, but each has their own unique skill sets. Other members include Madison Parisi, who was once an auditor and now independent journalist, as well as M. Knepp, who has worked in government contracting for about a decade. An attorney and an immigration rights advocate, both who requested anonymity because they fear reprisal, are also helping with research and providing broader context to the writers. We all have different perspectives on how we're seeing this information, said Liskey, which helps the group write about the documents in a way that everybody could understand them. Because that stuff is hard, she added.
2 months ago, the group decided it'd be easier to publish the information they were sharing with local groups in a newsletter. And their following has gone from 20 to about 450 subscribers. Their post had more than 15,000 views in January. Now, while their work is derived from publicly available records, they worry about their general safety as their local fame grows. Quote, "That's one of the chief concerns," said Riston. There have been stepped up efforts in cities nationwide to keep an eye on ICE and U.S. Border Patrol officers, but protesters and ICE watchers have at times been labeled as domestic terrorists by the Trump administration.
Yeah, that's terrible. Kash Patel, obviously the director of the FBI, said this week that the agency was investigating some of Minneapolis ICE Watch group chats. Project Saltbox said it has also received online backlash for their work. Riston and Parisi said they've been told they have Trump derangement syndrome. Isn't that like their favorite insult? Trump derangement syndrome. With some readers claiming that they are only out to attack the president and his administration. But Riston said the project has little to do with Donald Trump. If any administration, Democratic or Republican, allocated $190 billion to fund a paramilitary that was going to come into American cities and behave the way that it has and put human beings at risk, we'd still be here, Riston said. Very well said.
Yep. Now, while the work is daunting, with the occasional all-nighter, the Project Saltbox team sees itself as a ragtag community-driven effort that's hoping to educate people quickly in the midst of the chaos. Riston jokingly called Project Saltbox a hot mess for Gorosco, whose post started the project. It's about building community. Quote, "I hope it also encourages people to find their own little niche or little group that they can get involved in to actually do something that they think matters, even if no one else thinks it does."
That's very well said. I love that because like we read earlier in the article, AG, they each bring their own unique skill set. And there's something that everybody can do. And you've been saying it, I've been saying it. And we want people to just do something. Like you could do something, even if no one else thinks it matters, it does. Wow, very well put.
And that's why I wanted to highlight this little group of folks. And I can tell you there are many, many groups like this doing a lot of similar things. You know, we have had Joshua Aaron, who comes to some of our happy hours and has been on the Daily Beans for interviews, the guy who developed the Ice Block app, right? And then the Trump administration pressured Apple to remove it from the App Store. So he's suing. So we've got that. We've got these flight trackers. We had during the January 6th, we had the sedition hunters. You know, it's just groups of citizens doing real work that matters. So anyway, cool job, everyone over at Project Saltbox. And we have more news to get to, but we have to take a quick break. Stick around. We'll be right back. DeleteMe makes it easy, quick, and safe to remove your personal data online at a time when surveillance and data breaches are common enough to make everyone vulnerable. It is honestly unsettling how easy it is to find personal information on the internet. A quick search can surface your addresses, phone numbers, relatives, old records that were never meant for the public. And that creates a real risk for both you and your loved ones. Now, as someone with an active online presence and a lot of trolls, privacy is really important to me because visibility can attract the wrong kind of attention. Even if you've never been targeted, you probably know someone who's dealt with harassment, doxing, spam, identity theft that comes along from these data brokers. And that's why I like DeleteMe. DeleteMe does the hard work of wiping your personal information from data broker websites. You sign up, you tell DeleteMe what information you want deleted, and their experts take it from there. You don't have to spend hours finding these sites, figuring out the forms, sending emails, chasing down responses. DeleteMe does it all for you. And they also send regular personalized privacy reports that show what they found, where they found it, and what they removed. So you can actually see the progress. They also tell me how many hours they've saved me of doing all this work myself. And it's a lot. And it's not just a one-time sweep. DeleteMe keeps monitoring and removing new listings over time because data brokers constantly republish information. So if you want a practical way to reduce your digital footprint, DeleteMe is a solid step. So take control of your data, keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe. Now at a special discount for listeners, get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/cleanup and use promo code cleanup at checkout. Again, the only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/cleanup and enter code cleanup at checkout. That's joindeleteme.com/cleanup, code cleanup. You'll be glad you did.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Okay, our next story comes from NBC. And check this out. A January 6th rioter pardoned by Donald Trump. Of course, those are like the famous first words of January 6th rioter pardoned by Donald Trump did what? Has been convicted of child molestation and other crimes after he tried to use an anticipated payout from the Trump administration to silence one victim, according to a Florida prosecutor's office. A jury in Hernando County found Andrew Paul Johnson, 45 years old, guilty of 5 charges, including molesting a child under 12 and another under 16, as well as lewd and lascivious exhibition and transmitting harmful materials by electronic devices to a minor, according to Walter Forgey of the 5th Judicial Circuit State's Attorney's Office. This is disgusting.
Ugh. Now Johnson faces life in prison when he's sentenced in March. That's according to the state attorney's office. Good. I hope he gets life in prison. His defense attorney did not immediately respond to a message seeking comment. You can't really defend that, can you? NPR first reported this news. Now, Johnson pled guilty in 2024 to nonviolent charges after he entered the U.S. Capitol through a broken window during the January 6th, 2021 insurrection. Court documents say Johnson, who referred to himself as an American terrorist and proud J6er, engaged in disorderly and disruptive conduct for more than 4 hours.
He was among more than 1,500 people who were pardoned or had their sentence commuted by Trump after he was reelected in 2024. It was among his first acts as president. And Johnson is one of several former January 6th defendants facing criminal charges in separate cases after their pardons. One, Christopher P. Moynihan, 35, pled guilty this week to a harassment charge after he was accused of threatening to kill House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries from New York. This is from the Associated Press.
Yeah, but Johnson was arrested in August. The Hernando County Sheriff's Office said in an affidavit that Discord messages showed Johnson sneaking into a child's home to take him food and hang out with him. He also told a child, quote, since he was pardoned for storming the Capitol on January 6th, I'm going to be awarded $10 million as a result of being a January 6ther, and that he would be putting him in his will to take any money he had left over. That's according to the affidavit. This tactic was believed to be used to keep the victim from exposing what Andrew had done to him.
I'm lost for words, man. Trump has discussed the possibility of compensating January 6 rioters, but no one has received any payments. In the administration reached a settlement of just under $5 million with Ashley Babbitt's family. An officer fatally shot her during the riot as she tried to climb through the broken window of the barricaded door leading to the speaker's lobby. At least 33 January 6 insurrectionists pardoned by Donald Trump have been rearrested, charged, or sentenced. At least 33, all right, have been rearrested, charged, or sentenced for other crimes since January 6, 2021. According to new analysis by Crew, 4 pardoned insurrectionists have allegedly reoffended since receiving their pardons.
33 have been arrested.
And growing.
Yeah, it's going to get bigger. I mean, they're criminals. Speaking of pardons, the lawyer for Brian Cole Jr., the guy accused of placing the pipe bomber, right, outside RNC and DNC on January 5th, his lawyers say he believes President Trump's January 6th pardon applies to him. I knew this was going to happen. Defense attorney Mario Williams says Cole voted for Trump twice before his arrest and was charged in December with interstate transportation of explosive devices and malicious attempt to use explosive devices. Cole has pled not guilty to both charges. Quote, I think you have to employ some kind of common sense as applied to the allegations, says Williams. So if the allegations here are that he went there and set those components down and that they were found on January 6th, the judge says it's part of January 6th.
No, that tracks.
You're allowed to get a pardon for everything related to the events that occurred on or at the Capitol or nearby the Capitol on January 6th.
Yeah, Williams said the allegations that the devices were placed ahead of January 6th and discovered on that day fall within the scope of the pardon language 100%. The text of Trump's pardon states that the president grants a full and complete and unconditional pardon to all other individuals convicted of offenses related to events that occurred at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021. Federal prosecutors say Cole confessed after his arrest, describing how he built the homemade devices and where he placed them outside the RNC and DNC headquarters the night before Congress certified Joe Biden's election victory.
Yeah. At or near the Capitol. RNC, DNC are near the
block
Capitol.
Away, block or so away.
Yeah, it's 5-minute walk.
Yep.
If that. Now, after prosecutors detailed what they described as Cole's confession in a public court filing, the defense demanded access to the evidence. Williams says that he has now reviewed the recorded interview conducted after Cole's arrest and claims the government filing, it omits key context. He also accused prosecutors of making false representations. Boy, this government lying about something?
No way. No way.
No. Now, Williams said some of the government's statements about the interview are incorrect and in some instances, flat out false.
No way, this government. No way. No way.
Pshaw. Come on now.
No way. We're not talking about Biden's DOJ. The Trump administration cannot mess up.
That's Pamela Joe and Janine Pirro. Come on.
Oh, my gosh.
What could go wrong? Kash Patel on the scene? What could go wrong? Oh, my God. I can't believe he's the... Sometimes I just shake my head. I can't believe these people are in charge. I just said Kash Patel was in charge of the FBI and it blew my mind again all over like it had never happened before.
Oh, my gosh. Is this real?
It's just what a shit show. All right, We've got more shit show after this quick break. Everybody stick around. We'll be right back. All right, let's go back to Maryland for a minute, right? What district is it you're running in?
Maryland's 5th congressional district. There are 8 in Maryland, and 7 are Democratic-led. And the only one that is outstanding, the one Republican, is an insurrectionist by the name of Andy Harris. So he is the lone Republican in Maryland.
And so they're actually thinking of making it all blue.
Let's do it.
Let's draw the whole map. But let's talk about Governor Wes Moore. He's not going to relent on his push to redraw Maryland's congressional districts this year, but he's going to set it aside briefly when he delivers the State of the State address. That's today. Quote, my speech is going to be focused on the issues that this administration has been focused on, his administration, including economic growth, affordability, et cetera. Now, he said of redistricting, he said, I think people are going to see and know that this issue is a very real priority for me, but I think we'll also see that my priorities are making sure that we can make the state more affordable, that we can make the state economically competitive, and that we can protect the people of this state.
Yeah, Governor Moore said he also wants the state to continue to push back on the additional assaults that we are seeing from Washington, D.C. We know that we have a lot of work to do. We're thankful for the momentum that we're seeing in those areas, he told reporters on Tuesday. We know we're looking forward to working with the General Assembly to ensure all the goals and aspirations of the people of the state of Maryland we can continue to meet.
Now, for Wes Moore, this is his 4th State of the State speech since his historic inauguration in 2023 as the state's first Black governor. But Moore, who entered office on a wave of optimism, has seen his relationship with the legislature kind of fray a little bit. 2 months ago, the General Assembly overrode more than a dozen of his vetoes, including his veto of a bill creating a task force to study reparations. Those votes followed a bruising 2025 session where Moore raised $1.6 billion in taxes and saw some of his legislative priorities kind of stumble a little bit.
Yeah, legislators from Moore's own party are angry over his creation of a slate committee that could be weaponized to support challengers in the primary who are more supportive of the governor's agenda. Since peaking in 2024, Moore's approval numbers have trended downward. In one recent survey, the number of people who strongly disapproved of his job performance outnumbers those who strongly approved. The first time
that's digging for a statistic, though, isn't it?
That's exactly right. He's still above water, by a lot. So, but that was the first time that happened since Governor Moore has been sworn in.
Yeah, he's not making Gallup quit doing approval ratings after 88 years with his shenanigans like Donald Trump is. Do you think that's why? I still haven't read why Gallup is going to not do the presidential approval rating anymore. Did they just fuck it? We can't approve.
We just can't do it with this guy anymore.
No,
I wouldn't be surprised.
How is it not 0? We quit. Anyway, Wes Moore's speech comes at a time when he portrays the state and the country as at an existential political crossroads, he says. Now, the governor wants Maryland to redraw its 8 congressional districts ahead of the 2026 midterms to counter partisan redistricting in Republican states. The House last week approved a redistricting plan that would flip the state's only Republican-held district to Democratic. But that bill has stalled in the Senate, where it remains consigned to the Rules Committee. That's weird.
Yeah, at almost every turn, Moore has used traditional and new media appearances to pressure the Senate and its leader, Senate President Bill Ferguson, a Democrat from Baltimore, to vote on the bill. In a meeting with reporters Tuesday, he again demanded that the Senate, led by Ferguson, bring redistricting legislation to a full Senate for a vote. My position hasn't moved, Moore said. I think that we have to fight for democracy, and that means we have to have a vote. Moore vowed he was not going to move on, and I'm not going to stop. I love it. I love the persistence by the governor.
Yeah, me too. He's also insisted it would not be the focus of his address Wednesday, though. But Republicans and other critics say, well, I mean, why would it be the entire focus of your State of the State speech? Like, it's a sentence or two, like, yeah, we're working on redistricting. What do you want? Like, what do you need to know that's not out there already?
Yeah.
Anyway, Republicans in other cities say that Moore is too focused on national politics, perhaps in service of a higher aspiration, maybe. Moore is routinely mentioned as a potential candidate for president in 2028. Now, Ferguson, in a separate meeting with reporters Tuesday, said there's a host of issues on which legislators will work with Moore. But he said he's hoping the governor will touch on concerns about government operations. Quote, I'm hopeful that the governor will talk about some of the performance management actions that his administration will move forward to make sure that we're delivering on behalf of all Marylanders every single day, regardless of what is in the White House, it says. I don't know if you meant to say who is in the White House, but that's pretty funny.
I always take it as when they say, I'm going to read this part again. Republicans and other critics say Moore is too focused on national politics, perhaps in service of higher aspirations. Moore is routinely mentioned as a potential candidate for president. Governor Moore has said, no way, like he's not even focused on that right now. But I think it's a compliment when so many people say, oh, you have higher aspirations. I feel like that's a compliment. He's focused on
right when they're
Maryland
trying to make
now.
It sound like an insult.
It's like, that's not he's focused on higher. Well, shouldn't we all be focused on better and higher aspirations? But I just always feel that's, you're positioning yourself to do why? By doing the right thing? Like,
yeah, look how ambitious he's being.
Like, the nerve of him. Like, in recent months, department after department have received deficit, sometimes scathing audits from legislative auditors. Many have been repeat audit findings. Just today, we saw the story of MHEC, the Maryland Higher Education Commission, yet again has another program that failed to deliver, Ferguson said. This is for a program that's supposed to be having teachers receive scholarships so that they can have the highest quality individuals who are in our classrooms every day. And of course, now we are finding out the MHEC has failed to operate the program effectively, and people are going to get stuck with bills.
Well, I'm sure it can be fixed. It's how things work in the government. Sometimes things are wrong and then you fix them. I know that's weird.
Yeah, right.
And, God forbid somebody ambitious comes in and fixes the issues, right?
Yeah, exactly. Talk about ambition, right?
Whatever. Yeah, there was a little bit of a Republican bent there from Ferguson, right? So I think they're just mad that they're about to get erased from Maryland. Like, oops, there goes the whole, it's all blue now. Bye. And Virginia's going 10-1.
Yeah.
And the Virginia Supreme Court just allowed that to be a referendum. It's still being litigated. Yeah. But in the meantime, the court is allowing Virginia.
They're going to proceed with it. Yeah, they're going to proceed on it. Yep.
So we'll see. We'll see how that ends up going.
I wish with all this redistricting, I wish that everybody did like California did, like Prop 50. Kudos to y'all. Kudos to Gavin Newsom for having the foresight to seeing any challenges and saying, hey, you know what? Let's let the people do it. Because I remember when he came out forcefully saying, he said, you know what? We're going to have the people decide. And that's what it's all about. So I wish all states would have done that. Now, obviously, if I have to take a stance on it, because I'm a political person now, I say I support it. I wish that, however, I wish that it would have went to the voters first and let the people decide.
Yeah. Yeah. That's, I guess sometimes in certain states, because of our Constitution, it's why they went to the voters. Because they had to. I don't know that they would necessarily have done that if they didn't have to. Or other states, too, might be running out of time as well, because they have certain dates by which candidates have to put their name in to run in the primary.
Definitely.
All right, we've got one more story. The Pillow Man.
Pillow Man.
And we're going to, he cries and says that he's broke again. Can't find the Pillow Man. Okay, we're going to talk about him after this break. Stick around. All right, everybody, one more story from The Independent. MyPillow CEO and Trump ally Mike Lindell has defended his decision to spend over $187,000 in campaign contributions on copies of his own book. Lindell, who's running for governor of Minnesota, was asked Sunday if it was a wise use of campaign spending to purchase thousands of copies of his memoir, From Crack Addict to CEO. Quote, your campaign took in more than $350,000 in contributions in just under a month. Hey, Harry, what'd you get in the first 12 hours?
AG, check this out. So I'm going to break some news for everybody. While we're listening, but we just announced today, as we're recording on Monday, that in just over a little bit over a week, with 8 days since we've announced, we raised $1 million today. $1 million from close to 60,000 donors, not one corporate penny, and an average donation of $18.60. And I can promise you not $1 was spent on my book.
Well, you don't understand. I mean, Pillow Man got $350,000 in under a month. But, quote, filings show your campaign spent more than half that money on your own self-published memoir. Explain to people, why buy all those books? Is that a wise use of campaign spending? That's News Nation. Okay?
That's
News Nation is putting my Pillow Man in a bind here. And her name is Natasha Zuvs. That was on a show called Prime that she hosts on News Nation.
Yeah, Lindell first noted that the memoirs were a very good price. And he added, what you can do instead of paying money for flyers and stuff, we had to go around and have debates for about a month and a half. These debates, and we gave out the books instead of giving them a little flyer about me. This is my memoir. This is my autobiography, and showing people who I am. Lindell was asked if he planned to spend any more of his campaign funds on his book, to which he replied, absolutely.
He's going to buy more books. Lindell is seeking the Republican nomination in the 2026 Minnesota gubernatorial race to succeed Tim Walz, Democrat, who announced he's not seeking re-election. The MyPillow CEO dropped out of college in 1979, became addicted to crack, cocaine, and gambling, according to CNBC. I like how they say according to CNBC and not his book, like they don't.
And not his book, exactly.
He then established his pillow company in Minnesota in 2004, propelling him to financial success.
Yeah, Lindell, a jovial presence on infomercials that became ubiquitous on TV, subsequently emerged as an early supporter of Donald Trump in 2016. He since became one of the president's most vocal supporters, repeatedly backing Trump's false claims that the 2020 election was stolen. Lindell has also joined the president at numerous campaign events, White House press briefings, and has addressed the CPAC, Conservative Political Action Conference, an annual gathering of conservatives. Trump also frequently reposts Lindell on Truth Social. Lindell is running against Lisa DeMuth, the state House Speaker for the Republican nomination.
CPAC. That's an annual gathering of conservatives where you might get groped by Matt Schlapp.
Hello, right?
Another Republican running for governor, Jeff Johnson, suspended his campaign earlier this month after his 22-year-old daughter was found stabbed to death in her home in what officials call an attempted murder-suicide. Now, Democratic Senator Amy Klobuchar is also running to replace Walz. If Lindell or DeMuth were to win the election, they would be the first Republican governor since 2006. I'm pretty sure Klobuchar probably has this in the bag.
Let's hope so. Because any of those guys,
I think Al Franken should run for his old seat back.
I like it. I was great. He was a comedian, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember him at the Capitol. He had good hair too. So
he had great hair.
He's got great hair.
Great hair. Not as good as like John Fugelsang hair, but like it's fabulous.
Or Andy McCabe hair, because I love Andy McCabe's hair.
He's got great. He looks like my dad's yearbook picture. That's what Andy McCabe looks like. You know what I mean?
I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
Old school black frame government issue glasses and his high and tight little haircut. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, you know what's weird too is after a while, Pete Strzok grew a beard.
Yes.
And it's like weird to see like clean shaven, high and tight dudes like kind of get beardy
scruffy
and scraggly. Yeah.
I like it. I'm here for it though. So.
Yeah. Pete says hi to everyone, by the way.
We love you, Pete.
He enjoyed a 9 Inch Nails concert the other night. I was like, are you going with Feinberg? He's like, nah, he's hurt his back. It's like old people going to see 9 Inch Nails.
They need the seats, the not standing up singing. They're going to be sitting down singing.
Yeah, I was like, it's a seated venue for sure. And everyone's leather jackets are going to be too small, but they'll be there.
They will be there. Anyway,
just wanted to pass along his message of hi there and hello to everyone. He used to co-host this show. So that's it. That's the show. We don't have any Rudy news, just Pillow Man. And it's as ridiculous as you would expect. But we will be back. Actually, I'm not going to be here next week. I need to let everybody know I'm going to be on vacation next week. And I'm actually doing a thing where I'm not going to work on vacation. I've never done that.
I am proud of you for doing that.
I usually do the shows wherever I am, right? Like I've been on vacation a couple of times and y'all probably didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was on vacation. So Harry's going to take over this show next week. And
wish me luck, y'all.
Yeah, and also the bonus episode for patrons. So we're definitely looking forward to that. And the happy hour, which is going to be Thursday, February 27th. Is that? No, 26th.
26.
That's a happy hour for patrons. So anyway, just wanted to give you that heads up. So I won't see you next week, but I'll see you the week after. Do you have any final thoughts?
No. Just kudos to you for taking a break. You deserve it. And
kudos to you for running for Congress.
Right. Well, shit, I don't deserve that, man.
Yeah, you do. It's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. But you know.
Yeah, definitely going to get in there and get this work done. So thank you, everybody, that supports the show, that supports me, that supports Allison. Really, thank you. Like I said, we raised $1 million announcing today as we're recording Monday, February 16th. One of my friends said, that's so great. They sent me a text. I said, what's the goal? I was like, as much as possible. Like
the goal is as much as possible.
The goal is as much as possible to get in there. So, and like I said, I promise you I won't be buying my book. So
yeah, that's so fucking funny to me. Spent $200,000 on his own book. And the book is called Crack Addict and CEO or something. Like what?
Yeah.
1979.
Oh man. And it's you know what? It's no problem with being I drug abuse and substance abuse is very real, and a lot of good people suffer from it. But he's not a good person. So
no, he's not a good person.
Screw him. So.
Well, I mean, there's, I'm not going after him for his addiction.
Correct.
I'm going after, it's just a weird title. That's all.
Yeah.
It's just a weird thing to call your book. But, I guess hats off for being super open about it and wanting to talk about it.
That's right.
But Republicans never do anything to fund support for addicts.
Mm-hmm.
So that's odd that
they would want to embrace it, right?
Yeah, and I've never read the book. I don't know how much he talks about it, or if he talks about how he got help or whatever. I have not read. I must confess, gentle reader, that I have not read the Mike Lindell book.
Yeah, same.
But you bring up a good point about addiction. He probably didn't have the kind of wonderful support that like Hunter Biden did.
Yeah. Hello. Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. Like I said, Harry, I'll see you next week. I'll be back the week after that. But I think I'll see the patrons this weekend for our bonus episode. So that's when I'll see you next. Until then,
Yeah.
I'm Allison Gill.
Harry Dunn. Thanks, y'all.
Cleanup on Aisle 45 is written, researched, and produced by Allison Gill, with editing by Molly Hockey. Our art and logo design are by Joelle Reeder and Moxie Design Studios, and our music is composed and performed by Adam Orr. Cleanup on Aisle 45 is a proud member of the MSW Media Network, a collection of creator-owned podcasts dedicated to news, politics, and justice. For more information, visit mswmedia.com. MSW Media.